Not wrong, Walk the Moon. Summer is well and truly over. Happy autumn and happy Coast FM 963. You're on Raw and More. Angus Hamill with you as always, alongside a bit of a cast of characters this evening. As always, like he has done the last couple editions, I'm being joined by Steve Wheatley. How are you going today, Stefan?
I'm very good, buddy. Good evening, Coasties. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, thanks. Always a pleasure to have your smiling face sitting opposite me, but a bit of a special show tonight because normally we would always also have Brando McMillan sitting next to us, but he couldn't make it tonight. Unfortunately, he has been a bit selfless and he's letting his brother borrow his car, so no transport equals no radio for Brando, but Brando, my heart goes out to you, man. We are being joined in the studio instead, in Brando's place, by a couple of the Raw team who have just finished their training courses as well, Finn O'Brien and James O'Brien, no relation. How are you guys going tonight?
Yeah, going pretty good, thanks. How are you going?
I'm glad, Jamesy. That's great to have you in the studio. How are you going, Finjamin?
Great, thanks, Angus, mate. Thanks for having me.
No worries. Great to see you all together here after you finished your presenters course. Yeah. We'll get into that a bit later, your experience there. But, guys, I'll go to each of you for a highlight of the weekend. Steve, I think we'll get yours out of the way first because I think you and I have got the same highlight. Is that right?
Yes, we do. The rain. No, I'm only joking. No, well, we absolutely know what our best highlight was, mate. It was Saturday night. What else more do we need to say?
Oh my goodness! And you're wearing a beautiful Manly top. I kind of missed the memo. I'm sorry to say. I'm not wearing anything Manly related tonight. But
that's okay. Next week, mate. Next week.
Exactly. When we beat the Wars, of course. Oh, you'll be torn that night.
Actually, no, I think that's probably the only time of the year I get to actually watch football in comfort.
Oh, there you go. Whoever wins, you'll be happy. How about you, James? What highlight from your weekend?
Well, I've been working during the weekend, but it's all good. Give the good and bad.
Hey, your highlight, I guess, is that you'll be cashed up.
Yeah, also Knights beating Tigers, which bit of a close match. And also Manly winning too.
You.
And also
Yay.
And the bad news is no Charmer as Alex Pereira lost his title, but it's hopeful he'll get it back though.
Oh, who's got the belt now?
Ankalaev, and what I'm talking about is UFC. They recently had an event, Alex Pereira versus Ankalaev for the title. Unfortunately, Alex Pereira didn't win, but fingers crossed he comes back from it.
That's it, he is one of your fave fighters. Finn, how was your weekend?
I had a pretty decent weekend, thanks, mate. It was very chill, just a chill weekend, and it had a bit of an Alan Partridge binge. If you're not familiar, is Steve, played by Steve Coogan. It's an ABC comedy series, Mid Morning Matters, actually based on radio, so pretty relevant.
I heard he is pretty based on radio.
Yes, he is.
Well, it's funny you say that name, Alan Partridge, because there's been a few Als in our lives lately, being Australian, probably the biggest of which was Cyclone Alfred, which hit southeast Queensland last week. We caught a little bit of that with the rainstorms we've been having lately, but not as bad as northern New South Wales and Queensland. We're pretty lucky to be living here on the Central Coast. But to start things off well and truly tonight, in tribute to those that have met Alfred over the weekend, here's a bit of Paul Simon with You Can Call Me Al. Finally we get some real disco on the airwaves. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. Angus Hamill with you alongside Steve Wheatley and Finn and James O'Brien.
That's actually a nice ringtone to it.
I know, we had a proper harmony there, Steve.
Probably took me like 10 years to accept it too.
You're welcome. You've gotten less and less peed off about it the more I've delivered that.
Yeah, I just assumed that you're jealous of my last name.
Yeah. No.
Start to own it.
Yeah, I am Scottish and I wish I had an Irish last name. But we did have a little bit of synth right there, a little bit of disco, a little bit of dancing. That song you just heard was Finally by CeCe Peniston. And good job, guys. You passed the test as new presenters, the Laugh You Lose test. Good job with that name. Before that, we heard from Paul Simon and his 1980s hit, You Can Call Me Al. Shout out to Cyclone Alfred with that one. That was hit in southeast Queensland. And Steve, you were talking in the break there about another kind of Cyclone Alf we have close to home on Summer Bay.
Well, I mean, I just, ever since this has been going on the last week, I just think, who's probably the most Alf that I know that likes to cause a lot of mayhem and damage and that, and just instantly it just occurred to me, Alf Stewart. And so I just, as I was talking to Angus during the break, listeners, I just thought, well, if Cyclone Alfred has really been as bad as it is, wait till Hurricane Eileen comes through.
Oh my goodness. Well, to that I say, come on, Eileen. Oh,
Hey.
I hear the crickets with that one. Don't you worry. Now, guys, yeah, congrats, like I said, on passing the test, on not laughing at an artist's name, which I failed, I must say. But James and Finn, this is your first time live on air since you've graduated the School of Coast FM, the presenters course. How are you guys feeling now that you're fully fledged presenters?
Yeah, stoked. Thanks, mate. It was nerve-wracking at first, but after the first 2 or so hours, segments, you sort of get to learn the ropes. And the easiest part's the talking. I think the technicality is the hardest for me, but it varies from people.
I think you actually probably haven't been on the air last with me, mate, and since you were in the studio with me only a few weeks back.
Oh, yeah, when you guys had some on-air banter together.
We did. Had some good chemistry, didn't
Yes.
Yeah, if the chemistry is right. And James, you're looking super laid back. Look, you can't see him right now, but he's literally laying back in his chair, arms crossed.
Yeah, on my arms.
He
You
is
look
very
right at
chill.
home, man.
Oh, yeah. And I've been on air with you, like, years before I did the presenter course, but yeah, because I'm now the presenter, like it feels a bit, I wouldn't say different, but yeah,
It's not too foreign, is it?
We can let you loose with no supervision, which is just crazy
Pretty
to
much,
think about. Yeah. And there's the cheeky smile. Speaking of James, and now we're going to be transported to the south of Greece with James's good vibe of the night. Oppa, indeed. It's James's good vibe of the night. The segment where he dives deep into his own personal playlist, pulls out a song that he thinks has Oppa, immaculate vibes, and slaps them out there on the Coast FM airwaves and hope that you, listening at home right now, enjoy it as much as he does. Now, James, this is a song that you introduced me to a few years ago.
probably about 5 years.
5 years?
Yeah, I kept track.
Oh my goodness. Well, sugar, that's absolutely flown by. But this is a funny song about a very specific kind of servo meal you can get that you haven't seen in the wild. But that's all changed today. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so briefly, I went to see, I always see Chalky Milk, but I've never seen Me Goreen. And it's probably the first time I see Me Goreen in the Easy Mart around Gosford while I was getting chocolate milk. So I immediately took a picture and sent it to Angus, said, hey, look what I've found.
I was like, wow, Wade, this is a momentous occasion. Like you said, it's been 5 years since you first heard this song and introduced it to me. And now we've finally seen in the flesh the very thing that this song has been singing about all along. So with that story behind our back, Jamesy, can you tell us what your good vibe of the night is?
Oh yeah, my good vibe of the night is, the reason why it got you hooked is because the saxophone solo is, I think, Chalky Milk and Me Goreen.
That's right. I'm sure we can all relate to the late night servo meal in question. I hope you enjoy this one. It's good vibes. Oh, you know I love my Aussie indie rock, and it makes it more flavourful when you have a syrupy, caramelly, smooth sax solo in there. Coast of M963, you're on Raw and More, and that was James O'Brien's good vibe of the night, which was Aussie comedic indie rockers The Tin Knees with
Chalky Milk, Chalky Milk, Chalky Milk, and Me Goreen.
which, would you believe it, Jamesy finally saw the servo meal they're singing about in that song in person for the first time today. It's a momentous occasion, isn't it, Jamesy?
I wouldn't, momentous probably for you, but for me, I was like, oh, this happened.
You're like, oh, Angus will think this is cool. Do you remember the first time that you played that song for me?
Oh yeah, you were like gassed that it had a saxophone solo when we were driving from the cricket when we were going against Barmy Army, and it was the same cricket event that we all caught COVID for the first time.
I know, a couple of milestones there. Steve, Finn, do you guys like Chalky Milk and Me Goreng?
Well, I was actually just about to, funny enough you asked that, man, I was actually just to ask, like, what's your boys' favourite brand of chalky milk? And, like, so, like, it doesn't have to be, like, the one you get at, 3 a.m. on a Sunday morning. But, yeah, what's your favourite brand of chalky milk, lads?
Oh, that's a good question. There's plenty.
Oak, gotta be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree,
Oak.
Finn. Yeah, got to go the
Oak's
Oak.
the favourite.
Oh, man, I've got an unpopular opinion.
Also the Daily Milk one.
Yeah, I was going to go Dairy Farmers.
Oh yeah, Dairy Farms. That's the
yeah.
one.
No, that's probably a very good second.
And you guys are going to make fun of me for the reason I used to be Team Oak all the way, and then I figured out that Dairy Farmers has less kilojoules. So,
No, well, as a bit of an athlete, I will support you with that, mate.
Fair.
oh, thanks, Guy. What a lovely bunch. And speaking of lovely bunches, we're going from loving each other to being put against each other.
Two songs, they sound exactly alike. Yes, these are two songs, and they sound alike.
Yes, it's the classic segment where I give you two songs where one has kind of used another for a bit of, let's just say, inspiration is a very diplomatic word to use. The question is, did the second song in question rip off the original, or did they get permission to use the original material? That's what our team of detectives joining me in the studio right now are going to put their heads together and try and figure out. Steve, you are a veteran of this. I believe you have got it right both times, so congratulations off the cuff here.
I'm not doing too bad so far, I think.
I reckon, and you even beat Mr. Music himself, Brandon Macmillan, last week, so...
I do. I think against Finn and James this week, I think I like my chances.
I reckon you're looking very smug over there, but for the boys who it's your first time playing, basically I'm about to give you a second time for James, but quite a while between drinks. What I'm about to do is I'm about to give you two songs. I'm going to play the original of the two first, the earliest recording. Then I'm going to give you a song that was inspired by the original, whether it be a sample or an interpolation of the source material. It's up to you guys when we come back on air to guess if the sample was legit or if it was a rip-off, and they got into a little bit of trouble, to say the very least. Now, while you guys kind of put your thinking hats on, let's go straight to song number one. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. Angus Hamill with you alongside Steve Wheatley, as well as Finn and James. O'Brien. Never gets old, huh? We're in the midst of a segment right now called Soundlikes, where I play two songs where one was inspired by the other in its writing, stealing, or sampling, I should say, a riff, or interpolating a riff, or a lyric, or a melody of some kind. And it's up to these wonderful sleuths joining me in the studio right now to decide whether or not the sample or interpolation was done with permission in the right way, or if it was illegal, a rip-off, no permission, and lots of drama in the courtroom, to say the very least. Let's have a look at the songs in question. Firstly, the original was In Excess, Australian rockers, and you know what I always say, you can't be in excess of In Excess, with their 1987 hit single Need You Tonight. That was followed by English singer-songwriter Dua Lipa with her 2020 hit single Break My Heart. The sample in question is in the chorus of the Dua Lipa song, the melody of dur, 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 very unmistakable. But guys, I'll go to each of you. Do you think she got permission to use that melody, or do you think it was a rip-off? Steve?
What do I think? Well, I think that I am going to let James go first.
Oh, throw me on the bus, eh?
Throw him under the bus.
I like it. Brando's not here, but his spirit of throwing the question away moves on.
He taught me well. It's a very strategic move. Thanks, Brandon.
He's at home right now saying, well done, Steve, young grasshopper. I've taught you very nicely.
Well, I'm probably going to shoot myself in the foot, and I probably reckon it'll be the other answer, but I'm going to go with she's got permission from Alexis.
Dua Lipa's a goody two-shoes, you believe. Okay, I like it. What do you reckon, Finn?
Hey, I am going to be contrarian. I think it was a rip-off because it was so subtle, and I think it's feasible that she could have gotten away with that. But she didn't. So yeah.
Okay, I like your train of thought, Finn. You can put a lot of thought into that. I love the detective work. All right, Steve, you got one each way. What are you feeling, Mr. Veteran?
I think they've both definitely got some good answers. Well, I must say, Angus, so I think, and my dad, who's actually becoming a very big number 2 Raw and More fan, just behind Troy from Asquith, listening right now, would have loved that you played his favourite band In Excess right there first up. So, well, look, I am pretty fairly confident, my friend, that I reckon that it is illegal what she has done, and she has actually taken it from In Excess, who had the original rights to that song.
Well, I can tell you right now that we do have a correct answer. Shocking, right? Because there's only 2 answers to choose from. And the person or people who got it right was James.
Hey.
She actually, she did it the right way in the end, but it very nearly slipped through the cracks and was a rip-off.
It was 50-50 on my part.
That's right. Well, after the song had been recorded and was being readied for release, Dua Lipa and her collaborators, while they were listening to it in the studio, noticed the similarity to the famous Need You Tonight riff. They decided to reach out to the living members of INXS who wrote the song, which was Andrew Farriss, and also a posthumous credit to Michael Hutchence. They didn't want to get sued by INXS for using their material, so they reached out and added those guys. They gave them songwriting credits on the track. So it very well could have been a rip-off, but they made sure it wasn't, and for that reason, Jamesy, congratulations, you get the point. How you feel? It's a great honour, right?
Yay.
Well, that's okay. Finn and Steve, there's plenty of chances for you guys to come back. It's time for us to take a quick break, but coming up, here's a song by an indie Aussie band that I absolutely adore, that I only heard for the first time really during that countdown. It came in at number 102, which means it just missed making the big dance, and I think that's a travesty because this song is bloody amazing. Named after a lesser peak on Mount Everest, the South Summit, here are some West Coast rockers with some West Coast beachy, surfy reggae rock. It's South Summit with Giving It Up, and it's my good vibe of the night. Enjoy. Milka Mana indeed. Coast FM 963. You're on Raw and More. Angus Hamill, Steve Wheatley, and James and Finn. O'Brien. Oh my God, everyone. That was like a quartet in the studio right now with you this evening. We just heard my good vibe of the night. A couple of great pieces of Aussie indie rock. Starting off right there with my main pick, West Coast rockers from Perth, South Summit, with their really nice beachy reggae vibes right there. Brand new single from them, Giving It Up. It charted at 102. Just missing out on the hottest 100 of 2024. That song was King Stingray with their 2021 hit single Milka Mana, which, by the way, is a Yurnya word that means to pass on knowledge to younger people. So I don't know what the sketch was all about in the middle there when they're kind of yelling at each other, but other than that, absolute banging tune. Can't wait to see those guys in a few weeks, and that song absolutely goes off live. Can confirm. It's time for us to move across the 7 to 8 o'clock threshold, but to do that, we have another challenge for these guys. James is on the board tonight with points. Finn and Steve, it's your chance to kind of catch up here. Before we went on air tonight, I went behind Steve's back because he's got the advantage of doing this before. You're welcome, Steve. And I asked James and Finn to give me a random year between 1993 and 2024. Do you guys remember what years you picked?
Oh, I picked 1999.
And I picked 2005.
Now, Steve, before I reveal the year that actually got picked, is there either one of those that you would prefer to listen to or be quizzed on?
I think they're both good years, mate, but I'd think if I'd have to pick one, just because essentially being a 90s baby, I'm just going to go 1999. You?
I can confirm 99 was a great year. I mean, I was created that year, so of course it's a great year. Well, I can confirm I flipped a coin, and the year we are looking at tonight is the hottest 100 of 1999. As we cross over to 8 o'clock, I will be playing back-to-back 3 songs that charted in the top 10 of that year's list. It's up to my brethren in the studio right now when we come back to tell us and guess correctly which song charted the highest out of those 3. Starting off right now with song number 1, and a band I'm sure we all love as Aussie blokes, bit of Powderfinger with These Days. See you after 8 o'clock. Oh, what a lovely tune right there. Coast FM 963. You're on the second hour of Raw and More. Angus Hamill, Stephen Wheatley, Finn O'Brien, and James O'Brien with you for another hour of awesome tunes with some great guys. Hope your passage across the 8 o'clock threshold was a pleasant one. Boys, did you enjoy your passage over the 8 o'clock threshold?
Very nice.
Oh, very nice. Good success.
Yes, correct success.
Indeed. Now, before we heard those 3 songs right there, James, you indirectly picked a year for us before we went on air. The year you picked, to refresh our listeners' memory, was?
It was 1999.
Yeah, great year, the year of my birth, by the way. So we just heard 3 songs back to back to back right there that charted in the top 10 of the Hottest 100 of 1999, we heard from These Days by Powderfinger, The Bad Touch by the Bloodhound Gang, and to finish things off right there, we heard from We're by Killing Heidi. It's up to these fine boys to try and figure out which of these three tunes, fantastic songs, charted the highest. Steve, because you're a bit of a veteran at this game, I might go to you first.
Yep, no, that's right. I am becoming a quick veteran very quickly at this game, my friend. So my first pick is to let James go first.
Oh, very chivalrous of you.
So I guess that makes me the veteran now.
I guess you're the pro. Hey, don't worry. It's like Brando's never even left the studio with moves like that.
Thanks, Brando.
Well, James, I guess it's all down to you again.
Well, I was about to pick the second one, but then when I listened to the third one, I was like, I think that might be higher, the third song.
Oh, so you're going with We're by Killing Heidi, the song we just heard.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice choice. Good pick. What do you reckon? You know what? I'll go back to Steve now, I reckon, with
Until
that
he
one.
throws it on the bus, he picks
Yeah,
Finn.
throw it back to Finn. It's like watching a game of tennis in front of us. No, Steve, what do you reckon?
He's actually thinking about it. Okay, well, while Finn has a think about his answer, I'm even going to try and see if I can even pick this in order. So,
Oh, fancy pants.
I'll try and do I get double points if I pick them all three in like third, second, and first?
I'll give you a high 10 instead of a high 5.
Okay, all right. Okay, well, so you would really think I actually would know this off by heart, being a 90s child. Okay, no, look, I'm going to say that Powderfinger, they would come in at number 3. The Bloodhounds at number 2, and I'm hoping I'm really going to be right about this, and I'm sure Brando is going to let me know about it if I get this wrong, but I'm going to say Killing Heidi has the number 1 spot.
Nice. So you're siding with James there. You reckon We're by Killing Heidi?
A little bit, yeah.
Nice. Finn, what do you reckon? Majority rules, or do you reckon you'll go something different? Win on your own?
Well,
Or
I
lose
think
on your own? Who knows?
It's a gamble. I'm gonna go contrarian again. Why not? Or contrary. I'm gonna say Bloodhounds at number 1.
I was going to say, I know which one would have been number 1 in your mind,
Yes.
the Bloodhound Gang.
I'm biased, yes.
Unbiased completely. Well, I can confirm that the Bloodhound Gang actually charted the lowest out of the 3. The Bad Touch came in at number 6. And the one that charted the highest was, in fact, Powderfinger.
Oh, we were all wrong.
So everyone's wrong. That's history here on Raw and More. No one's ever been equally completely before. But yes, We're by Killing Heidi, it was very close. We're by Killing Heidi came in at number 2, which at the time made them the highest unearthed artist in history to chart on Hottest 100, and These Days by Powderfinger topped the list, which is funny because Bernard Fanning, the frontman of Powderfinger, topped the list that year with Powderfinger, and then Finn, if we went to your pick of 2005, he actually came in at number 1 that year as well with Wish You Well. So either way, it would have been a Bernard party right there. Congratulations to no one. Get better, guys.
Congratulations to the listeners having to put up
do
with
our
us.
research.
Yeah, in before Brando texts in saying, I got that right, guys. But speaking of local artists, it's time to hear from...
And now it's time for The Local List, brought to you by Homebrewed.
Hey, A for effort anyway, guys, I got to say. I mean, props for giving it a go, and you guys were all close, except for Finn. But that would have been number 1 in your house, though, I'm sure, Finn.
Yes.
So what did the boys send us this week, Angus?
So this is the local list, the segment where the Homebrewed boys, who used to be in this very time slot, Cameron Smith and Eamon Snow, send through a fantastic new release by a local artist every single week. This week's edition of the local list is brought to us by Eamon Snow. He has picked a wonderful local artist who we've had on the show before, Joel Leggett, with his brand new release. He says, we had Joel Leggett on their podcast last year as he prepared to release his 3rd album, Don't Wait. While they were interviewing him, he teased them about a freshly assembled band and his desire to fill out his sound a little more, go from more acoustic, singular folk to more fleshed out indie rock. He's done just that with his latest drop, Should Have Known Better. A very fun foray into the world of jangly indie for this Central Coast rising star, and we're absolutely all here for it. Without further ado, here is Eamon Snow's pick for the local list tonight, Joel Leggett with Should Have Known Better. Feeling a bit wayward tonight with that one. Coast of M963, you're on Raw and More. Angus Hamill, Steve Wheatley and Finn and James. Oh, Brian. The harmonies are getting less and less enthusiastic.
I think it's actually getting really better, mate. Like we've only just been in harmony as of last week with Brandon, and now these guys have actually just jumped aboard and nailed it straight off the bat.
I know. I feel like we're in a barbershop quartet, the way we've been practicing that harmony tonight. Jamesy, it's been your name. Pardon me. It's been your name your whole life. How do you feel about it being
much.
sung?
I just assume that you're jealous of my last name, so yeah.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, the song you just heard was by Central Coast rockers Sun Solely with Wayward from their self-titled LP. Jamesy, it's been about a year since we saw them together at North Entrance Surf Club. What a day that was.
Yeah, it was too. We ran into a couple of old friends too.
No, it was a great time, wasn't it? Like, they're really surfy, really indie vibes. I love it. Before that, we heard from another local artist, Joel Leggett, with his fresh release for the local list. It's called Should Have Known Better. If you would like to keep up with Joel and further releases that he's got in the works that will be coming out throughout this year, you can follow him on Instagram at Joel Leggett, spelt LEGGETT. Now, speaking of good times and good vibes, Steve, coming up, we're going to be hearing your good vibe of the night. Give us a quick teaser on what it's going to be.
Well, we certainly do have my good vibe of the night coming up, my friend, and I've actually chosen something very special that happened over the weekend, but we'll find out after this station sponsor.
Living on the coast. Coast FM 963.
Coast FM.
Now it's time for
A segment that even Steve can see coming.
I certainly can. It is Steve's Good Vibe of the Night. Steve's Good Vibe of the Night. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah, it's Steve's good vibe of the night. It's his turn to dive into his playlist and pull out a song that he thinks has immaculate vibes, slap her out there on the Coast of M airwaves and hope that you, yes, you, Brando, maybe, listening at home right now, enjoy it as much as he does. Now, Steve, your pick tonight has been inspired by a recent celebratory event.
It is. Now, I have had to delve very, very deep and long into my Spotify playlist for my good vibe of the night, and I've actually taken this one because it's something, yes, very special that happened over the weekend. Now, for some of you who may or may not know, over the weekend it was International Women's Day.
Hey!
And in celebration of all the amazing women all over the world, I decided to pick my absolute number one best of all-time female performing artists. And I got to say, guys, this was a hard one to pick because there was just so many that I had to pick from. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going through the list all afternoon. I was going, what the hell who am I gonna pick? And in the end, there was only one name that came up for me, and it is Canada's own Avril Lavigne.
And it's really funny you say, what the hell are you going to pick? Was that intentional, Steve? That little pun?
Absolutely.
Oh, fantastic. Well, I love how you went there and you're like, what the hell am I going to pick? Saw Avril Lavigne and you said to yourself,
oh, what the hell?
Indeed. Here's Steve's good vibe of the night. Avril Lavigne, what the hell? Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More. Angus Hamill, Steve Wheatley and Finn and James O'Brien with you. That right there was Steve Wheatley's good vibe of the night. Avril Lavigne with...
Oh, what the hell? And, pardon the pun, mate, but, I'm actually wondering if that's what the Cowboys coach was saying at the end of Saturday night. Guys, what the hell? I know it's only round one, but...
I'm sure it was not just what the hell, but a few other choice words attached to it as well after seeing that.
I promise that's my last bad pun of the night, Coasties.
No, it's not even your first bad pun. They've all been great, Steve. Don't you sell yourself short. But you know what else is great? A little bit of this.
It's the birthday bash. The birthday bash. Just call up Angus and find out what song was number one on your birthday. Oh God. Birthday
Yes. Hey, you think you got bad puns? I think I got bad jingles. We're in the midst right now of the Birthday Bash, the segment where I get either a guest or a person who's listening to phone up, tell me the day they were born, and I, in exchange for that personal information, play for them the song that was number one the day they were born. Now, Steve-O, we went through this with yourself and Brando, and the funny part about that was, even though no one knows Brando's exact birthday,
No, he's been very secretive about that.
I know, but it was just so funny that James just pointed at himself and said he does. Wow. Well, we know it's December 99 at least. So, but what was funny, James, that you missed was that it was the one song that was number one the entire month of December 99. So
Yeah, I think probably the even funniest thing about that is that we had what was it? How was it you like to describe it, mate? A lot of our songs for the year that we were born were
diva anthems. I think was the yes.
that was it. That was it. We actually after we went off air last week, I actually had asked you, what was the number one song for when you were born, but for my birthday date. So my birthday is the 20th of April, and so the theme actually kept on going because I believe the number one song for that year was
Britney Spears.
Hit me baby one more time. Yeah.
Well, we're going to be treating Mr. Fingerman, Finn O'Brien. You are going to be finding out, because I know you're such a music man, the song that was number one on your birthday tonight. So, Finn, without further ado, what day were you born?
I was born on Tuesday, on the 11th of February 2000.
I love how precise that was.
That was
Tuesday.
very accurate.
Tuesday.
The 11th of February 2000. At least it wasn't the 11th of September.
I believe it was Tuesday.
What do you know roughly what might have been popular? What song could have been number one the day you were born?
Oh, that's a hard one. Well, because I was born, it would be hard to say, but guessing something around something Coldplay or Chili Peppers, perhaps.
I get that kind of blokey stuff, you would say.
Yes.
Well, that's good. You're going down the right track because, like Steve said, myself, his, and Brando's songs were kind of diva anthems. Finn, yours is the complete opposite. It's a parody of Meredith Brooks's Bitch, recorded by Aussie comedian Chris Franklin. It's called Bloke. You lucked out with this one, Finn. Here is your birthday song. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise for the Australian national anthem. Coast FM 963. Oh, a bit of whistling. We harmonised that very well too. Coast FM 963, you're on Raw and More, and we just got to hear the birthday bash from one of our very own, Finn O'Brien. We just got the chance to hear the song that was number one on the Australian charts the day you were born, the 11th of February 2000. What do you think of it?
Oh, it's quite the bogan anthem. It's quite the shocker that it made number one.
Quite fitting too.
Quite fitting, yeah. Perfect for you, Finn, on your birthday.
You know what I'm actually surprised about the most? I'm surprised how before we had that song, I just had built up all the good vibes of celebrating International Women's Day, and then Finn just has the most blokiest song that there is.
And what makes them all hilarious is it's a parody of a girl power anthem too.
It is.
Cursed state of birth.
Happy International Women's Day. Here's the blokiest song of all time. Hey, don't shoot me. I'm only the messenger. Shoot Finn's parents. Actually, don't shoot Finn's parents. They don't deserve it. They're actually probably listening in right now. Finn, shout out to your parents for giving birth to you on that day so we could enjoy your birthday song. Anything you want to say to them if they're listening in right now?
Could have picked a better year.
I'm sure they love you too, Finn. Well, and now it's time for the
Coast FM
saxophone solo of the week. Yes, we're all about feeling good here on Coast FM 963's Raw and More. That right there was my sax solo of the week. English singer-songwriter Rex Orange County with his 2017 single Sunflower. That one goes out to my beautiful best friend Jen from Jensville, who played that song for me when we went out for dinner the other night, and that's the first time I heard it. I was amazed by the sax solo, very similar to when James played me the Chocky Milk and Me Goreng song for the first time. So thank you to you, my best friend James, and Jen for introducing introducing me to even more saxy songs, James.
You're welcome.
Do you reckon that could be maybe one for the test next week, mate?
Oh, perhaps, mayhaps. We'll have to come up with something, but something that's already been come up with is this. The last time you'll be hearing this tonight, because this time it's Finn's Good Vibe of the Night. James, I noticed you didn't sing along to that. Is there any reason why?
I don't know, because
He's too cool to sing.
He's too cool. He was thinking, oppa, let's just get this over and done with.
I reckon you guys stole Finn's moment there.
Sorry, bud.
Sorry, we'll go to Finn with this. It's Finn's Good Vibe of the Night, the segment where Finn dives deep into his own personal playlist, pulls out a song he thinks has immaculate vibes, slaps it out there on the Coast of M airwaves, and hope that you out there listening right now enjoys it as much as he does. Finjamin, it's your first time picking a good vibe. What have you got for us?
Yes, and we have the season that's just passed, Summertime by Maru. It's a bit of electronica vibe.
Bit synthy?
Yeah, a bit of a synthy electronica 80s vibe, which is what I'm all about.
Way to send summer 2024/2025 off.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
That's a really nice way to memorialise the end of summer and the start of autumn, Finn. Maru, it's a French name. It's spelled Mareaux. Is he French or are they French? Do you know? I've never heard of them.
I think, American French from California, but yeah, originally I think he is.
Famously, California is a very French area of the world, guys. I don't know if you know this.
No, I know there's French Canada, but...
Yeah, French fries were created there, I'm pretty sure. So, yeah, well, without further ado, Finn, here is your good vibe of the night, which is Maru with Summertime. Yeah, you're on Raw and More. That right there was Finn's good vibe of the night, which of course was
Summertime
by Maru. Is it Maru?
Maru.
Francois. Very fancy choice right there to finish off the season well and truly.
Not to be mistaken with Maru 5.
Very nice. Or Storm Maru, the Mariners right back at the same time. Well, guys, that's pretty much the end of Raw and More tonight. It's been a pleasure being here with you guys. Before we finish up, Jamesy, what have you got on for the rest of the week?
For the rest of the week, apart from working, I've got a couple of interviews planned for Raw Youth Disability Radio.
Ooh, exciting times.
Yeah.
We'll be hearing those soon.
Yeah, probably from a few Raw favourites too.
Oh, I love that. Well, nice teaser, man. Nice shout out, Finn. What have you got on? I'm sure you got boring things happening.
Pretty quiet week, yeah. I've got one interview lined up on Friday, and then Saturday go to the Cook Islands. But other than that,
Going to the Cook Islands?
Yes.
What?
Spoiler alert.
Like, actually going on an international flight this week with the fam?
Saturday, yeah.
What?
Wow.
Since
For
when?
a week. Since for about a month in advance.
Oh, yeah, thanks for the notice.
Pretty good, yes. Thanks. Bit of turtles and that, yeah.
Well, I hope you have a great trip. How about you, Steve? What have you got to wrap the week up?
Yeah, and I've got a busy rest of the week, mate. Got work tomorrow, and then I'll be back in here in the next couple of days, finishing up some interviews that I did last week for Raw, so getting those all ready to go to air, and then got a bit of a break from some of the sporting commitments over the weekend, so get to sit back and chill, have a couple of Guinnesses and watch my two favourite teams play. So if you were to ask me who I'm going for in those two games, well, I just say go Sports.
I love that. That's the way to go. It's definitely not the Cook Islands, but still sounds like a great week. Time for us to finish. Classic hits coming up after 9 o'clock, and then Indie Rock Cafe with Matt McCoy after 10. I leave you with a celebration of my own for International Women's Day. Here's Role Model with Look at That Woman. Good night.
Good night, Coasties.